Street Topics. If you want to hear the raw truth, unfiltered, and you want your voice to be heard, this is a topic in the podcast for you. You got myself, C. Holmes, and we got Jassiem, the veteran, and the OG that's going to bring it down. We're bringing you facts, raw truth, the word of the street that needs to be heard. We're not afraid to be controversial, and you know we rocking here down in that dirty South of Houston. Are you ready for the next episode of Street Topics? What's up? It's another episode of Street Topics here in the dirty South of Houston, H-Town. You know, we're doing it live, big, and we're going to hit the raw truth and say the things that you, the people, want to say. But you know, I can't do it here by myself. I have the one, the only, Jassiem.
What's going on, people? I'm going to tell you like it is. If you don't like it, I don't give a damn.
You know, he will every time. And he, like he said, he don't give a damn. Now, we're going to hit on this topic. We're talking about education. Wait a minute. I feel like we talked about this a lot of times, but it seems like it took someone to start crying crocodile tears for the world, well, I guess I say America, to finally listen. Because you know we've been talking about that, but it's the issue that me and you have hit constantly about how we have students, seniors in high school, not knowing how to read. And you know, I know a lot about this several times, but before we really tear this up again, because I know you can't ready to say what you want to say, I'm gonna go ahead and play this clip.
I can't say what I want to say. Don't we still have the First Amendment before they take it away? Before Trump takes it away?
The freedom of damn speech, as they say.
We still have that before he take it away. And if he try to take it away, you still gonna say what's your mind, then you're trying to Jesus. All right, so let's go ahead and play this clip what they have of this teacher that went viral. All right.
Lunch break. It is, I don't know, 11:30 or something like that. And I just finished a 3-hour class. We have what's called block, and block is where first and second periods are combined for subjects that need it. And so I literally broke down in the middle of class because I'm teaching seniors. These kids are leaving high school and going to college, hopefully, after they finish. We had 2 paragraphs to read, 1 sentence complete to write. I gave them the sentence stems. I basically completed the sentence for them in the model. These are 17 and 18-year-old kids, and they couldn't fill in 4 words. 4 words. I gave them the scenario. We annotated together. I gave them the answers before we even had the problem. And they couldn't do it. I don't know. I simply don't know where the problem is. This is only day 2. And I have seniors who simply cannot read and seniors who cannot write. They cannot write. They can reason. They have the ability to defend their reasoning if it's talking to their homeboy, but applying that to a written text, 2 paragraphs, they couldn't do it. Our young black men, our young brown men, our young black girls, and our young brown girls
All right, here you have it. The video that went viral, and I know we've been talking about this for long, but this teacher, and I'm gonna see this other video because we already know what district this is, and I'm gonna play the video with Mike Miles a little bit later. But students, and not just lower levels, in high school, seniors are struggling to read. We have constantly went over this time and time again in our previous podcast. And quickly, in my opinion, and I know you can't wait because you've been up on yours, I think it's a mixture of a lot of different things from at home, parents not getting involved as they should, and then quickly wanting to throw things on educators at time. Not to mention the politics when it comes to education, especially in certain districts. Curriculum, you teachers are forced to teach certain curriculums that they don't even like, and meaning they know and they see the mistakes, but they're forced to abide to. And you have students, and I'm gonna bring up something that always brought up in the past during COVID, where it's not reading or being attentive or doing any kind of skill set, which is pretty much laying around being lazy and not doing anything. And there was a huge gap. I think it was about 2 years when we had that time period, and now we're starting to see those students pretty much into the high school level and those grade levels. So there's a lot going on that I think is a mixture of, but I definitely think a lot needs to be done at home as well. It's not just the educators; it's a lot of different pieces as well. But go ahead, Justin. Oh, he started laughing.
Well, man, this is, to me, this is not shocking. It has always been the writing on the wall. If I'm gonna be straight with you, in this topic, because especially in our community, it's the system is already designed and set up against us, regardless of what somebody might say it is not. That is a lie. There's redlining and there's other things that is being done or has been done and is doing now with this current administration to whitewash history and who we are and what we are. Basically, recolonizing America. That's what they're trying to do.
Mm-hmm.
But the problem lies first, and I've always stated it, and I'm not going to change what I feel and what I say. It is the parents' fault. The parents are failing the kids. And they're failing the kids because they're not spending the time with their child. Now, don't get me wrong. Some parents that may be single parents that, working extra hours, working long hours, or whatever the case may be, I understand that. By all means. I grew up in a single parent household.
Mm-hmm.
But my mother made and found time to ensure she was involved in my education. So there's really no excuse. There is no excuse in regards to parents. If you can find the time for a few minutes to pick up a cigarette and then take that cigarette and put it in your mouth and take the time to go in your pocket and get a lighter to light the cigarette, then you still have time. You have time if you have to go to the bathroom, and while you're sitting on the toilet, your child can be on the other side of the door while the door is closed, and you can be going over class lessons with them. See, there's no excuse, people. And I don't believe in excuses, because if we continue to always have excuses, we are falling into the trap that is designed to recolonize our community in this country. And in doing so, the rich is getting richer and the poor is getting poorer. And in doing that, and to ensure that happens, it is to guarantee kids become servants of the rich. Because if it is not true, why did they change the grading system? The grading system has changed. You go from what, 85 to 90, that's an A. When it was 90 to 100, and from 89 to 80 was a B. But now they backed it because of the idea, even in this government, they have dismantled the Department of Education to people of wealth, excuse me, that cares nothing about the American people.
So
And
let me
the
go ahead and
other
add.
part of this
Go ahead.
is the American people are so busy being easily distracted over things that is less important rather than focus on the things that are important.
Very well said. Politics is definitely a huge issue and impact when it comes to education. It's been like that for several years and ongoing. And then just on to add on to that, uh, we definitely on this as well. I can't stand, and honestly, this is my opinion, how we pretty much pass students along from grade level to grade level just to meet certain statistics, just to look good. I think that
Leave
does.
no kids behind was the
It
worst
it made
program.
it hurt, like when compared to education, especially in our country, to others, we're way behind. And because what it does is it's saying like, hey, Sally is ready for the ninth grade, but Sally hasn't learned the fundamentals of certain core skills in English, grammar, and much more. And then when she gets into high school and is expected to write a paragraph, essays, and much more, she's looking crazy at the teacher like, what are you talking about? Like, I don't know how to do this. And it's like the system has failed over and over again. I
The system is hasn't failed. The system is doing what it's designed to do.
not educate our students.
Not educating our students, but most importantly, not educating the students that come from a low income to middle class family. Because a rich and wealthy person can pay for tutors to get their child, or they can pay up under the table to get their child to pass or get into college. Like what happened several years ago when you had some actresses and actors who paying college up under the table to admit their kids that didn't deserve to be in college.
Yep, because they have the resources of the funds, and
Exactly.
then we are definitely at a disadvantage, and because like he did talk about the black students, is because let's say black and whites go into the same school, public school system, they still have an advantage because let's say if they don't understand the material or resources, just as you kind of follow up what you just said, they can hire a tutor to actually advance them more. And so by the time they come back in the classroom, they're probably like, this is easy. They have the extra resources, extra help, and things at home. And then on top of that, their parents are more involved. So this goes back to the accountability of the parents.
Mm-hmm.
One thing that I will always argue against is those who say it's just all the educator's fault when it comes down to that. Every time I hear that, it pisses me off because that tells me that that person is a parent who don't want to take responsibility for their actions. Picking back on what you were saying earlier, what were you doing in those little time spots when your student, your son or daughter was failing? Were you just pretty much kicking up your legs and not doing anything, watching movies and just say, go do your homework? Where was your ass at? Was you over here like, why weren't you not taking the extra time as you needed to actually educate your son or daughter? Because your son and daughter needed your time and help. That is family bonding time. That's actually how you work as a unit together, and you don't see that. It's like they want to go ahead and throw it to the edge.
Well, the problem is this that in my opinion, from what I have seen, is we have allowed majority of outsiders to dictate what our values are. And because we allow outsiders to dictate our values, we have decided to accept those values that has not been working for us. And because it has not been working for us, we have been lost. We have been confused. We have been bamboozled and still don't want to open our eyes and see. We have destroyed and continue to destroy our own family. Some parents, and I'm gonna be real, some parents have kids that shouldn't be parents. simply because they don't want the responsibility And they don't want the accountability. Because having a kid or having a child, you have to give up a lot of yourself. And there's too many selfish parents out here that refuse to do that. And they don't see the bigger picture in the fact that when your child is successful, you're successful. When your child fails, you fail. Because that child represents you and how you raise that child. Yep. And then other thing, excuse me, the other thing about this matter is the fact that we want to think we have accepted the fact of outsiders saying that we are a jester. And for those that don't know what I'm talking about as a jester, I'm speaking about in medieval times when the king was upset and he needed to cool off and change his mood. He had the jester, which is the person that dress up in the clown and act the fool to make him laugh. Yep. We have gotten to the point where we have to do that, or we think we have to do that to please. Excuse me for saying.
Nah, just say what you want to say.
We have gotten to the point where we feel like we have to please Mr. Whitey to make Mr. Whitey feel comfortable for the past and how he is and how he won't change, so he don't face accountability and responsibility. That is the problem. I'm not a jester. You should not be a jester. Your kids should not be a jester. They should be focusing on being the best version that they can be, but also be better than you and provide. And that is what's supposed to happen. When your kids cannot even write cursive, and they took that out of school, and they took the fact that you cannot correct a child when they're wrong, how is society going to deal with them? Easy. They're going to give them some brand new or reusable silver bracelet, and they're going to escort their butt to the jail. And the thing about it is, I'm sick and tired of mothers always saying my child was good. If your child was good, why is your child not able to read, not able to write? And that affects them mentally to the point where they become depressed, they become bullies, they start getting into trouble. And you already know the system is designed for our community and the brown community. And I'll even include the poor whites, for us to fail so they can pimp us out while the rich is getting richer and force us to spend money that we don't want to, just like what's going on now. People are struggling with high gas price. People are struggling with the fact of the groceries. Kids nowadays don't even know how to even use their head without using a damn calculator to add numbers up.
It's sad too.
They don't even know how to count money backwards to make sure somebody didn't screw them
over.
If there's no cash register.
You made a good point, because there was a viral video and they were saying like, hey, I'm gonna show something, and like they had these youngsters at the cashier pretty much, handling cash. The person would literally on purpose quickly give them like the wrong change or something like that, throw them off, and then they will exchange the wrong amount and they actually give the customer more money than they should have and put less money in their own drawer. And they didn't never realize it because they don't know how to count it.
The basics of survival is not being taught. And it is a complete disservice to these kids. And you cannot blame these kids. Completely you can't, or you shouldn't, because it begins at home. Mm-hmm. Charity begins at home before it spreads abroad. I was taught.
Teach them.
So if you're not teaching them at home, don't expect the job that a parent's supposed to do that a teacher is going to do. Okay. A teacher cannot whoop and chastise somebody else's child.
Especially nowadays.
A teacher cannot yell and get in the child's butt when they misbehave or anything like that. How many times a child in school have raised their hand at an adult and fought a teacher?
Because they are not learning moral values at home, and they feel like they're an
Thank you.
adult in a child's place. And
Thank you.
that right there is another issue they're bringing home as well. All this is fundamentally starting at home. When you
Thank you.
have the point where kids, teenagers feel like they can pretty much run a household, what you expect?
How they
There
gonna be
is no,
outside? If they
there's
doing it at home,
no,
they gonna do it outside.
there's no foundation, no, you know, mindset of growth. There's no discipline there, and they think
No
you can do
structure.
no structure. There's nothing, and then they think they know everything. But as soon as the cuffs get put on them or life hits them on the chin, they
They
quickly
cry
depart.
like a baby. They whining for the mama or
And
they
they don't want
whining
to,
for the daddy.
and they
But
don't want to
no,
take accountability, and they
your
don't
ass
want
is grown. So if you grown, you're gonna have grown
wrong
ass consequences.
consequences. All right. So with that said, real quick, I'm gonna show this video. I don't even know what to expect. The superintendent responded to the video that went viral. I'm not, I'm actually surprised he responded, but I don't know what he's about to say, honestly. So this is gonna be raw reaction from us. I won't be, I'm just gonna roll it. So let's go ahead and share this. All right, let's see. What we about to hear?
Oh Lord, you got this fool.
Yes, we're doing great. I hope
Superintendent.
we celebrate that. In fact, we're going to go to Wheatley tomorrow and celebrate the fact that they have an A. Because the A and these numbers don't really mean that much unless you think about the kids behind it. When you go from 38 percentage points or 34 to 58 in Algebra 1, that's hundreds, thousands of students who can now do math at grade level in either 8th or ninth grade. That's setting them up for success. Still, when you're at a 58, that means that there's 42% that's not at grade level. So yes, it's not news that kids that struggle, and that's why it's so important doing what we're doing. That's why we raise expectations. Where was the outrage, if there's outrage over that video or post? If there's outrage, where was that in 2023? I hope there was. That's why we're doing the rigor that we're as rigorously, the work as rigorously as we can. That's why there's an urgency. People say we're moving too fast. People can't catch up. People say that, the expectations are too hard. We have a sense of time. We're pushing kids too hard. All those comments. And I say, yes, we are using time well. Yes, we are raising expectations. And guess what? The kids have risen to the level of expectation so that we don't have as many situations as that. But you can go into any high school today, or almost any high school, some you can't, and you will have kids who cannot read at grade level. That's why the work has to continue, and that's why we need to be urgent.
Oh, I can't wait to see your response because I know you tear up every word. Go ahead. I'm just gonna listen on this one. He had to
First
turn
of
his
all,
head.
this HISD superintendent, Mike Miles, is full of shit. He's full of shit. Because from my understanding, he had HISD sign an agreement, which the school board should have read before they had it signed, where a portion of the money left HISD and went to another state, to another school, therefore resulting in the cutbacks in HISD. Therefore, that and those funds could be funneled to resources for kids after school, on the weekends, if they need extra help with other community businesses or individuals or volunteers. If it was that important. And because it's not that important, he's like a politician regarding like Donald Trump. They talk the game, but they ain't nothing coming out but nothing's come out his mouth but shit.
All right. So with that said, just as a quick overview, real quick. In early 2026, reports emerged that Houston ISD state-appointed Superintendent Mike Mills signed a consulting agreement with Third Future Schools, the Colorado-based charter network he founded and previously led. The contract renegotiated in February.
Wait, hold it. You say he founded and previously led. So he intentionally took the money from HISD, had them to sign it, which they were stupid to even sign it and not read it and comprehend or have an attorney to look over it. Took money out, gave it to a school he founded and previously led.
I'm going to read this little part because I know people are going to go spin and go deep into Google search. Houston ISD's own contract with Miles allowed him to take on outside consulting, but arrangement may have violated the House Bill 3372, a 2025 Texas law that bans superintendents and assistant superintendents from moonlighting from other school districts, charter schools, or education companies that provide curriculum.
He's a crook, just like Trump.
I'm gonna close this out.
He is a crook, just like Trump. He gonna tell you what you want to hear. He gonna make you feel good, like some of these crooked pastors. And then guess what? He gonna have his hand out at the collection plate. And then once he get his money, guess what he gonna do? He gonna go put that money somewhere else. And while you struggle and trying to figure out where the hell is the money, and he's right now still cannot be touched because nobody wants to reach out. It's like the Yellow Pages. Ain't nobody's trying to reach out and touch his ass.
So let me go ahead and say this too. From the inside, I will tell you that when it comes to the performance of the students, you do have a few students that are performing exceptionally well. But I will also say there is a good handful and more students that struggle with the basic English and grammar mechanics. When it comes to math skills, they're used to using certain applications to actually help them guide the way. And at certain grade levels, if you were to fail a student, it's an issue. So we have
hold on. No, you don't just glaze over that part what you just said. Explain that, because these people that act like they can't comprehend need to understand exactly what you're talking about.
Which exact point you wanted me to go a deeper dive in?
Just don't glaze over it. When they don't pass, what happens? Tell them, because I know what happens. I come from a family full of educators, so I already know what happens.
The biggest issue and conflict, and it's very controversial, that's going on now, especially in this district, is you have students that are not performing well. But what happens is they place educators, even their job, on the line if they do not pass a certain amount of students, which does a serious disservice to the students because they're not actually learning the material. Certain students do need to be held back so they can learn the fundamentals or basic concepts before they move on to the next grade level. But due to the political atmosphere in certain, majority of the school districts, students are now being passed along and not ready, which leads to the more issues that we see today and progressively ongoing of students not knowing how to read, write, critical thinking skills, or innovate, and much more, because they were not properly taught. They were passed along just to meet statistics of the state. But if you actually set the child down and actually drill them for critical thinking and understanding, they do not have it. And that is why a lot of these students are having a serious wake-up call and facing frustration when it comes to college, because college does not care what your mother, daddy, or anybody else says. Hey, you even saw in the news where Trump's only son pretty much got dismissed because his son did not meet the standards of the university. So what we're doing is actually doing a disservice to our students, and it needs to be a change.
And another part I want to add to that, it's still the parents' fault, because there are some parents that's more concerned about their image than they are about the knowledge that their child should be receiving. They will raise hell with a teacher or an educator or a principal to pass their child when you know your child is not ready to be passed to the next grade level. This is another part of the equation of an issue. You're failing your child on purpose. And then when you can't make the cutoff, you want to play the stupid role, play the victim, like you don't know why your child cannot meet the standards, the minimum standards your child cannot meet, because you were concerned about being embarrassed that your child had to be held back versus wanting the best for your child. You just wanted the best for you, not your child. So that speaks volume about the type of parent that individual is.
And the last thing that I'll bring up too is that all this and this whole climate and much more makes it worse for the student, because now you place the student in power where they can actually pretty much debate and be like, you can't do anything to me because, or I don't really have to pay attention in class, because if you do not, you can lose your job.
Exactly.
And so I can pretty much clown, halfway do the homework and still get passed.
Mm-hmm.
So what's really going on, as they say in the lyrics of the song?
And you know what else? What happens, my brother? Bullying and jealousy develops because those students whose parents that really love them, not by words, but love them by actions, those students who really study and do well in school are the ones that those that did not get jealous and act out on them. But whose fault really is it? They should be acting out on the parents for failing them. And they should be acting out on themselves, because at some point in age, you should know better. So if you know better, why don't you do better? So you can't blame at a certain point in your age, from 16 or 15, you start developing and knowing the difference between yourself and others. And you have to make a decision what side of the fence you want to be on. You want to be on the dumbass folks side, or you want to be on the smart folks side? Do you want to be on the side where people is not trying to make no future or have a better life in the future? Or you want to be on the side where people are working towards becoming something, becoming somebody, having something that's going to give them peace? Or you want to be on that side where they don't want to have peace and there's a bunch of chaos?
He said what he said. Now, with that said, Jassiem, where can they find you, and any last closing comments?
You can find me on In the Trenches podcast, but most importantly, check out the website, In the Trenches, INTHATRENCHES podcast.com. Check it out. We got some good merchandise, but also too, check me out on Rumble. I'm on rumble.com, as well as I'm on Instagram, Facebook. Check us out. Look at us. I've been posting, and there's been a lot of controversy I've been posting, and it's been taken off.
With it.
It's been taking off a lot of the poor whiteys that don't like some of the things that I'm posting about facts of what's going on with this administration. So check it out. I want you to check it out. Make your comments and what have you. But also too, it's just not me on In the Trenches. It's also my boy Chris Holmes.
Hey. And with that said, we have another episode of Street Topics in the Book. As you know, as always, we always bring you the raw, the truth, the facts, and much more. Like it or not, we're going to speak your mind. You know damn well Jassiem going to speak his mind regardless. He going to say what it is.
Goddamn straight.
See, I told you. But make sure you subscribe and much.
Baby ugly. Shit.
You can check us out on YouTube as well as Soul Production, or you can follow my social media at @CHolmes_, as well as my website at soulproduction.biz. So again, make sure you subscribe, like, share, comment, and keep the message going, because your voice matters. So are we going to fix this education thing, or are you just going to keep going with the flow?
In other words, get off your dead ass and be somebody, and let your kids be better than you. Give them a chance.
Right on. And peace.